There once lived a humble man at the foot of a mighty mountain. Each day, the mountain rose like a sleeping giant before him, unshaken by storms, unmoved by time. And there, beneath its shadow, the man worked. He was a stonecutter, shaping rock for the homes and temples of others. He had little: a wooden hut, calloused hands, and a heart full of quiet dreams. Each morning before the sun rose, he lifted his chisel and hammer. Tap, tap, tap. The sound echoed through the valley, steady as his breath. He was precise, patient, invisible. He watched others build lives with his stones, and the rhythm that once soothed him began to stir a question he could not quiet. Why must I always build for others and never for myself? One day, delivering stones to a rich merchant's home, he walked through silk banners that fluttered like bright birds. Laughter spilled from golden halls. The merchant appeared in robes that caught the light like water. He did not look at the stonecutter. He looked through him. In that moment, envy took root. The stonecutter felt the weight of the mountain and the emptiness of his pocket. That night, beside a single candle, he sighed and whispered into the stillness. If only I were the merchant, then I'd be powerful, respected, and free. Outside, a strange breeze swept across his hut, brushing the flame without extinguishing it. A voice, soft as the wind itself, answered, "Your wish is granted." At dawn, he awoke in a bed of silk. Servants bowed. The mountain now stood far below his balcony. He had become the merchant. Days passed in luxury. He owned caravans, jewels, and servants who hurried to obey. Yet the more he possessed, the more he feared losing it. Whispers of nobles who ruled above merchants reached his ears, and his heart grew restless. If only I were a nobleman, he thought, then I would truly be powerful. The wind replied, "Your wish is granted." The merchant vanished. In his place stood a nobleman, armored, commanding, surrounded by soldiers and crimson banners. When he rode through the streets, the people lowered their heads. He felt their fear and mistook it for respect. He ordered, and others obeyed. He spoke, and others listened. The world seemed smaller beneath his banner until he looked up. Above him blazed the sun. It could burn fields, blind eyes, and silence armies. When the sun raged, even kings hid behind shade. The nobleman's crown felt fragile beneath that unshakable brilliance. Jealousy flared. The sun is mightier than I, he realized. If only I were the sun. And again, the voice answered, "Your wish is granted." He rose into the heavens, radiant, magnificent, feared. He felt power coursing through every ray of light. The earth bowed beneath his heat. He scorched deserts to ash, warmed forests to life, and guided ships across oceans. Surely now he was the greatest, the source of day, lord of the sky. Then a cloud drifted in, soft, quiet, effortless. With one movement, it covered his light. His power dimmed. His brilliance disappeared. He raged, but the cloud moved as it pleased, blocking him at will, drawing veils across the world he thought he ruled. The cloud is stronger than I, he thought. If only I were the cloud. The wind whispered, "Your wish is granted." He became vapor and sky, vast and free. He sprawled across valleys, curled over mountains, and poured rain upon the world. Rivers fattened under his gift. Crops lifted their faces to drink. He drifted where he wished, softening cities and fields with silver curtains, thinking himself beyond reach. Then, from nowhere, something unseen tugged at him, an invisible hand. A current took hold, tossing him, stretching him thin, tearing him into tatters of mist. The wind. It carried him wherever it wanted, driving storms like cattle across the plains. The wind rules over me, he realized. If only I were the wind. And the voice returned. Your wish is granted. Now he was the wind, wild and relentless. He roared through valleys, swept over oceans, and toppled trees like toy soldiers. He carved canyons with patience and fury. He was unstoppable. He laughed in thunder and sang through reeds, reveling in a freedom that had no walls and no doors. Until he met the mountain. He hurled himself against its cliffs, screamed against its face. Yet the mountain did not move. The harder he blew, the quieter it stood, unshaken, silent, eternal. Exhausted and astonished, he whispered into the stone, "The mountain is greater than I. If only I were the mountain." The wind answered, "Your wish is granted." He became the mountain, ancient, immovable, vast. Snow crowned him in winter, rain carved his sides in spring. Sun warmed his shoulders by day, wind combed his ridges by night. Seasons brushed past like the hands of children, and centuries flowed around his feet. Empires rose, raised flags, and vanished like footprints in rain. Now, he thought, nothing is greater than I. But one morning, he felt a faint tapping. Chip, chip, chip. A vibration at his base, small but persistent. He looked down and saw a man, human, slender, steady, hammering at his foot, prying loose pieces of stone. No matter how great he was, he could not stop the chisel. Bit by bit, the mountain changed. He understood. The stonecutter shapes me. He changes me. He endures me. Strength that only stands is not greater than hands that create. In awe, he breathed a wish he had never imagined would return to him. If only I were the stonecutter. For the last time, the wind whispered, "Your wish is granted." He awoke to birdsong and the smell of morning mist. His old hut, his tools, his hands, strong, scarred, alive. He stepped outside and looked up at the same mountain he had once envied. It stood as it always had. But this time he did not feel small. He felt complete. He picked up his chisel and smiled. Tap, tap, tap. The sound was no longer labor, it was gratitude. We all look up at someone else's mountain, someone richer, stronger, freer, and we wish to trade places. But every wish comes with a weight. Every crown has a cost. The stonecutter's journey is a mirror. Power over others is never enough to quiet a restless heart. The greatest power is gentler and harder. To rule yourself, to work with what you have, to find peace in your purpose. Because in the end, the one who shapes the world is the one content with his own hands. Be still, be grateful, and remember, the mountain only looks taller until you start to climb.